What's up, guys? Chase here. I thought I'd just throw a quick video up here of a experience that just happened to me recently, and something I actually want to address and talk about a little bit. And I hope you guys can give me a great discussion about this in the comments down below, and also like in favor of this and send this video out because I don't actually think this topic really gets talked about too much. So yesterday I was hanging out with my friends and we decided to do some thrift shopping. So they didn't get much, but I ended up making out like a bandit. I bought some, old VHS tapes, some T-shirts. Found a little Cartman figure. Then we went to pawn shops to see if we could find some old retro games. And lo and behold, my friend Gabe found Super Mario Land 2: The Six Golden Coins on Game Boy. And I ended up lucking out and finding Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Back to the Sewers for Game Boy. Lucked out, but here was the problem. It wouldn't boot up. Now, through an eBay purchase, I managed to buy a security bit. I don't know if the camera will focus in on that. It's designed to unscrew security bits. If I can pick one up with my little figures here. I don't know if you can focus. It's having a hard time focusing in. Look, hide my face, focusing on the screw. Well, anyway, the screws, they're designed for a Nintendo, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, and I think they go all the way up to this Nintendo 64 as well. So it's the type of bit that you can't really get commercially just to prevent people from opening these things up. But that was 25, 30 years ago. We've all grown up. We all want to keep these games in pristine condition, but sometimes it gets a little hard. What ended up happening was, first I took my alcohol and Q-tips to it, tried cleaning the insides because it wouldn't boot up, but then this kept happening. I don't know if you can focus it. Now this actually isn't Turtles that's in here. This is actually Darkwing Duck, but I just wanted it in there and I put it in a little loose to make point. That's what kept happening, but the Nintendo image was a little bit more gargled. Now what I did was, oh, and yeah, see, I even tried doing that, pulling it out, pulling it back in, just won't load, and that died as well. I think Darkwing Duck has the same problem. Let's just try that again. Yeah. We're doing it live. Fuck it. Now the problem was that, now what I did was I unscrewed it and I looked inside. The main reason it wasn't booting up anymore is the gold contacts, two of them had stripped off a whole lot. Now, this can be caused by pulling and, just general use over the years, putting it back in, pulling it out, all that jazz. I actually have one as a good demonstration. So I've got this extra copy of Dr. Mario here that I got with a lot. It didn't work. I ended up finding another copy later down, but I'm going to show you this. Now, I've already, you can see inside, you can't see the screws. I actually just showed you them. I'm going to open it up for you right now. So it just pops up easy like that. And here's the ROM, or here's the motherboard and the ROM chip. Now, don't know how well this will pull up from camera, but this game is pretty much beyond repair. If you can look right around here, you can see a little bit of black, especially this one right here. There's a little bit of black there and a little bit of black there. No matter how much I cleaned, it just would not work. It's actually a little bit worse on the back here. You can see a big old hole right there. And that makes me sad a little bit, knowing that so many cartridges are going to get tossed out. I won't toss this one out. I returned the game because this one, Dr. Mario, was bought as part of a lot off someone. I wasn't really going to go back and say, hey, 1 out of 25 games I bought you doesn't work. Give me some money back. Because I actually made off like a bandit on that one. It's a game pickup video 6 if you guys want to go see the haul I got. Now I'm just trying to put this back in. Oh, I think I got it upside down. Yeah. That just makes me sad that games like this, now I'm not saying like Dr. Mario is like greatest game of all time. It's still fun, but like here's one less in the world because some gold parts on its circuit board are gone, and you can't play it anymore. All right, I'll put that back together later. I'm losing my train of thought trying to put this together. My point is, I tried to do some research online to see if there's any website that does restorations of old video games like this, because you don't want a whole lot of these dying and going the way of the dodo. We don't want these things going extinct. We actually want to preserve them, because some of them, like me, prefer playing on our consoles as opposed to playing on a virtual console like the Wii, Wii U, Xbox, PS3. There are exceptions to the rules for certain things. And then some of us just don't like playing on emulators. I mean, the only thing I really emulate these days are games that flew under the radar well beyond the release and the death of the NES. Games like Little Samson, Flintstones, Surprise at Dinosaur Peak, Panic Restaurant. Those games that collectors are now asking huge amounts of money for. Money I could put towards a house instead of putting towards a game collection, you know? But the fact is that it makes me sad that like stuff like this will prevent a game from running, and there's really not much you can do about it. But I do know that there are some sites that I'll say one here. RetroZone, the people who make reproduction carts, their own reproduction carts. This is Nintendo World Championships, and believe it or not, it's got its own chipset, its own motherboard in there, brand new. I know some sites do donor carts to do their reproductions, but I mean, if this site here, I know it's costing him a little extra money to get the pieces to do games like this, to do games like Battle Kid and Battle Kid 2, and the other World Championship carts. But I just don't know. I can tell you one reason why, and I'll get to that in a sec. But I kind of wish that some people, the people that are really talented at doing stuff like this, could be like, hey, you got a broken cartridge? Are the gold strips stripped away? Can't play it anymore? Send it to me. I'll unsolder the ROM chips here because these are still good, and I'll put it on a new board for you. I'll put the board back in the case, and I'll send it back to you for a fee. Now, I definitely know why most people don't do this. I mean, people who do stuff like this are kind of skirting around very close to copyright infringement, because they are making money off of someone else's intellectual property. But I think though, is like, if it's something that can't get on a virtual console, I mean, why not release it? Why not have something like this? Everything I went for to do any type of restoration for just cartridges, I couldn't find any. I mean, there's tons of sites out there that will sell you repair kits for games and consoles. Like, they'll send you new pin. You can buy new pin connectors. You can buy new AC adapters. You can buy new video cables. I actually, spoiler alert, Gabe, if you're watching this before you're going to come up, hang out with me tonight, I bought my buddy Gabe a new AV cable for his Genesis 2 because he's just running off of RF modulator, and he's got a flat screen TV, so it was better if he has stereo RCA cables as opposed to just running it through the back of his coaxial. But yeah, like it's just sad, and like I said, it saddened me that I had to take the game back. I had to exchange it for something else, or I could have got my money back. I mean, I just bought it there, and the guy was gracious enough to hand it back. And now, my buddy Gabe has almost the same problem with his Mario 2. It's not running. So he's probably gonna come over here, him and his girlfriend, to try. I'm gonna try and fix it for him. I'm gonna open it up and try and clean the contacts as best as I can. But if they're stripped, he might as well take that back. That's what saddens me most too, is that it's a Mario game. Mario games, like, people take a lot of care of these things. I mean, you can try and take as much care as you can with games, but they'll just eventually die. I really wish someone could be like, do this on the side. I mean, obviously, you got to make some money off of it if you're doing it on your own free time. But I really wish that someone could like order up like a bunch of the boards that go in here, or boards that are compatible with ROM chips, and just be like, hey, do you have a game that no longer works because the contacts are completely stripped? How about you send it to me, I'll solder everything for you, and I'll send it back to you for a nominal fee. I mean, it's not like we're making copies of these games. Although I will say, though, that for the people that do reproduction cards and you have to send, and you're asking for donor cards, please stop. Or even if we're looking for donor cards, stop. Just Do what Retro USB does. Buy new circuit boards. Flash the ROMs on the chipsets if you're doing like the games that never got released here, or the ones that have the fan patches or the fan hacks. You know that I just I want games preserved. I want like everyone to like be able to go out and get like an Ultimate game and not worry about having to send it off. There's one company that requests for you to get Mr. Gimmick, which is a completely underrated, completely unappreciated Nintendo game that was never released over here. That for some reason Retro USB decided not to continue producing anymore. There's a guy who will produce it for you, but you have to send him a copy of Batman: Return of the Joker. And I would just receive a new message on my private terminal. Someone just texted me. Uh, but man, like for Batman: Return of the Joker, why sacrifice that game? That game's hard to find as it is, and you're gonna sacrifice that for just a gimmick? Far be it. Mr. Gimmick is a great game, but you're deleting another Return of the Joker from the world. So I think that's kind of the end of my little rant here about somebody out there needs to do my suggestion and totally give me credit and money for it. No, someone needs to do this. Someone needs to help preserve the history of Nintendo games, of Game Boy games, Game Boy Color, Advance, anything that's on a cartridge that has a ROM chip, that has these pins, that after decades and decades of people pushing it in, pulling it out, blowing into it, and just natural wear and tear, we really got to keep these things up. I mean, if you're one of the people who wants to go on the Virtual Console and get Dr. Mario for $5, hey, all the power to you. Me, I much prefer to have the actual physical cartridge in my hand. That's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope we open up some type of discussion about this. Like it, comment on it, give me your opinions on the whole. Should we keep these cartridges in pristine condition, rescue all the old ones and beef them up, or should we just forget about them and just throw everything up on the internet like it's already been for the last 20 years that we've been dealing with ROMs and emulators? Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Take care, and I'll see you next time.